Good morning, it's me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot, and we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment, and if we want to see changes, we actually do have to shift and change that energy within us. And these readings, hopefully, all my cards are falling down, sorry. These readings hopefully give us that insight that we need to be able to make the changes that will allow us to manifest the things that we want to experience in our lives. Oh, you all can't see if you're on TikTok, but look at Bowie. She looks so cute. If you're wondering why I'm looking over here or over here, camera 1, camera 2, is because I'm also recording this so that you can see the live replay on Tuned In Tarot YouTube. If you come in the middle here on TikTok and you're not able to watch the whole thing, it will be available there, hopefully, after I upload it, since my internet is not working very well. Okay, we like to start these collective tune-ins. Oh, let me just say to those of you watching on TikTok, I will be doing personal readings after the collective reading. Sometimes the collective reading is 2 hours. So I will probably not be getting to personal readings until at least 11:30 or 12 p.m. So if you intend to want to get a personal paid reading for $11, $22, or $33, you can come back and check around 11:30 or 12 o'clock if you don't want to see the collective reading. However, if you were going to ask a question about a relationship or a job or a career or anything like that, you'll probably get a lot of information from the reading. So you might want to just listen to the reading because it might change the question that you would ask at the end. That is my advice to you. Okay, let us begin. So I always like to start the reading by having us think right now of something that we would like to happen that we think would really make us feel better. So right now, I just want you to think, if this thing happened, I would feel so much better than I feel right now at this current moment. And it can be anything. It can be whatever just popped into your head. It doesn't even have to be about your person or about the thing you're trying to manifest. It could honestly have just been like, I would really like a sandwich. Like, and if you really like a sandwich, then maybe you're needing nourishment. You know what I'm saying? So just think of whatever that is and hold that in your mind for a minute. If this thing happened, I would just feel amazing. I would feel so much better than I do now. Even if I do feel good right now, I would feel like this much better. I can't think of anything. What are y'all thinking about? I'm trying to think of something. I mean, there's lots of things. It's more like I can't choose. I'm like, now I'm thinking too much. Okay. All right, we're going with that one. All right, let's check and see how close you are to what you actually need. Whatever it was that you just thought of, let's see what you actually need. I literally was in alignment with what I thought. Okay, this is the Wheel of Fortune. And the first thing I thought of when I saw the Wheel of Fortune is change. And that's actually what I was thinking. I was thinking, I really need a change. And so I'm in alignment with what I actually need. And the Wheel of Fortune is also about timing. It's about not being resistant to the way the wheel turns. Our egos are very fixated on when things happen and the outcome of the things that are going to happen. And so we get caught up in that. You know, we're like, when is there going to be communication? And we might have missed communication from someone else because we were focused on this one single person. I was thinking to myself, I just recently met someone new, and I was thinking, I would love to be able to change like the focus of like who I put my focus on. That's what came to me. I would like to be able to accept something different, something that like to have the wheel turn, to have the cycle that I was always in end. And so there would finally, instead of being in this stagnant energy, I would be in new energy. And that's really what this theme is for us here today. So if what you were thinking wasn't what you actually needed, it's kind of a really great point of reference to be like, wow, I thought that this thing was going to make me feel better. But what I didn't realize is that actually changing the way I think about this thing is going to make me feel better. Or changing how I feel about how long it's going to take or when it's going to happen is going to make me feel better actually right now. So I think it's a really powerful part of the reading. Good morning, Rachel. And I really feel that I'm kind of excited to see that for me personally, more and more when I do this part of my readings with everybody, because I always do this, even when I do a Tell Me Everything spread, I kind of do the same thing. Like, even though it's a personal reading, I'll be like, let's see how in alignment, I am with this person or whatever. And the more and more and more what I actually think, or what I think is what I actually need. And that's showing me that I'm very tuned into my head and heart space. So it's not a big deal if you were way off. It's just more a point of reference for you to be like, well, maybe one of the reasons why you're not seeing change is because you're actually desiring something for yourself that you don't need right now. So that's a pretty powerful lesson to learn. Okay, we're going to get started. Divine Feminine did not show any of her cards today. She is like, I'm keeping my thoughts and to myself, not speaking about it right now. So we're going to let her rest over here, and we're going to flip over the cards for the masculine, because I pulled 6 cards for head space and 6 cards for heart space. I keep the head space cards on the desk in front of me, and then I keep the heart space cards here to the side, and those are revealed as I go. I look at the top and the bottom of the deck, and I just want to say this to those of you that are new, who haven't been at these readings before, or maybe just need a little bit more clarification about what kind of a reader I am. I am not a reader who is reading for your person directly. So if you are a person who considers yourself female in gender, and you don't have to have the biology, but you just consider yourself a female, you are not the divine feminine, and you are not the divine masculine, but you are a person who has both of those things within them. And if you identify as a female, that might mean that the feminine energy that I read is really more familiar to you, and you might be like, wow, that's exactly how I think or feel, but you're not as tuned in to the masculine energy. And the person that you choose to focus on, that person isn't the divine masculine. There aren't divine masculines and feminines walking around. I hear I used to even refer to people as feminines, masculines. I stopped doing that because we are all people, and we just have the energy inside of us. And if you were a divine, you would be a god. And there's really not a whole lot of those walking around that I can see. So really, you are just a person. Your person has masculine energy, and maybe they identify more in that energy, so they do things and say things and act in ways that when you hear the masculine energy, you're like, oh yeah, that's what my person does. However, the reason that you attract a person who does and says those things, or doesn't say and do those things, depending on the kind of person you're attracting, is because you yourself have the energy within you that is being projected back to you. And this is true 100% of the time. There's not an instance where somebody is doing something that is not part of your projection. They can be doing something that's really out of alignment with what you want. Like if an extremist Christian comes on my chat and starts like trolling me, it's not like I'm an extremist Christian. However, it might mean that I fear being judged as a witch and a reader and whatever by people who do have those views. And so my fear of that judgment, or my belief that I'm going to be somehow persecuted, that results in me being able to attract people who match that part of my vibration. And if I can shift that inside of me and no longer believe that people will persecute me, instead maybe they will feel enlightened, maybe the information will change their minds, and I can start to see the power of that, then those people will start to fade away. That is what I believe. I believe in the quantum field. I believe that we are observing and creating reality at the same time. And it might not be the same as some of the other readers you're seeing. Thank you for the little dinosaur. That's a cutie. I like the little dinosaur gift, Rachel. All right, let's begin with the masculine top of the deck. Overall headspace for this masculine energy today. Not sad to see it. The Ace of Cups. So we had a little conversation about this card already bright and early this morning. If you caught my video that I posted this morning, and that video that I posted this morning was actually in response to the video that I posted last night before I went live. I did this reading that was like, so your person is not communicating with you after you communicate with them. Why? And I was very much in my ego during that reading, which I'm sure is super entertaining to watch, but not always as enlightening as when I kind of push that part of myself to the sidelines and make her watch while the, messages from spirit come through. And there was a part where I pulled the Ace of Cups, and it was a response. It was like, well, what should I do instead of reaching out to my person? And I got really irritated because the message was, you should focus on self-love. Now, my ego, who loves to take things personally, was like, fuck you, I already do that! And like very mad about it. And it took sleeping on it. It took going into that live reading last night, which those of you who were there, you saw that transformation that happens when I get the messages that help to soothe my ego. And after I slept on it, and after I had a really lovely conversation with the person who reached out to me during that live stream, it was crazy. I literally got a person from a dating app who I just kind of started talking to a little bit, reached out to me last night during that live stream. I ended up talking to that person later, and that person started telling me things that I have been waiting for 20 years to hear. And my instant reaction at first was like, this is fake. It's fake. It's not real. And I really had to keep soothing myself and be like, why do you think that? Why do you feel that way? Why wouldn't this person's words that they're saying be true? Don't you think that you have achieved enough self-love that you should be seeing this offer of love reflected back to you? And I almost felt numb. I couldn't feel, I remember in the past, when I would get on a dating app and start to talk to somebody and it would seem like this person was good and I would get all excited and be like, oh my God, wow, this person is actually a person that I want to talk to. It's so fucking exciting. And I would be like, oh, he messaged me again. And my reaction instead was temperance. I was like, huh, just take this in. I don't really know what to say. And it was shocking because I realized that I am so used to this, that this was actually a challenge. And that is such a revelation, because how could I have ever expected to receive this from my specific person if I couldn't ever receive this from anyone? And the only reason that my specific person was comfortable is because this is what I'm used to. And that person really doesn't fill my cup for me. That person, my specific person, has often shown basically tributes to me. And I realize now that those things were self-serving. It was for me to stay attached or hooked to that energy. And it really wasn't to make sure that I felt secure. And that was a really revelatory. And whether or not I continue along a trajectory with this person who literally said they want to, take things slowly, start chatting, get to know each other, physically meet up, all the things that I would really like a person who I want to date to say. That moment was so profound for me to have. And I want to just say again what I said in the video this morning about this Ace of Cups. That message, because some of people reacted exactly how I reacted, which was I do work on my self-love. What the fuck do you mean? Right? They were like, excuse me, I've been doing that. I've been always doing that. Because that's how I felt too. Very defensive. How have I not been doing that? How have I not been working on my self-love? And then this morning when I woke up, I was like, oh. The message was not focus on self-love because you don't. It was because you love yourself. Do not take this energy and pour it into someone's cup that cannot pour back into yours, because you're pouring into an empty cup and there's going to be nothing left for you. So focusing on the self means I take the energy that's not reciprocated and I put it into my own cup. And I just allow that person who's not able to reciprocate to be without my attention, without my focus, without my kindness, not because I'm mean or, withholding, but because in this instance, this person has shown me over and over and over again that they are not capable of returning my affections in a way that will help to keep my cup filled. Because temperance is about having 2 cups full. It's the fulfillment of the Lover's card. And you're pouring back and forth. Nothing is lost. And the person that I am working with doesn't have the ability to pour back into my cup. And so it's up to me to do what the next card said, which was to be optimistic that there is somebody with 2 cups. And the card after that was the 6 of Swords, to move away from the place where there is lack and to move towards a place where you will receive lack. The final messages were work on your limiting subconscious beliefs that have kept you in a place where you've been willing to not receive what you're due, and move away from this energy. And the final 2 cards in that reading, which were pretty shocking, was the Empress, which was you have to know who you are. And then the bottom of the deck was the Emperor. This person you are focused on does not know who they are. But there is someone who does. And that was the message of that reading. It was very profound. And I woke up in a whole other reality today. Like an entirely new reality. Very different from the one I was in yesterday. So powerful, powerful thing. And not surprising that my masculine energy is thinking about that Ace of Cups. Because I'm sure the person outside of myself saw that reading. Because that person stalks me and sees everything I do. And my own masculine energy was called on to think about how much I give, because the masculine energy is the energy that gives. The feminine energy is the energy that receives. So all of that leads us back to this cup. The divine masculine has a full cup. That means if you're focused on somebody who is not pouring into your cup, it is likely their cup is not full. And it doesn't match you, because this is your cup and it's full and overflowing. So that's a beautiful way to start this entire reading. The bottom of the deck, underlying all thoughts and feelings, is or all thoughts and decisions rather, is the Sun in reverse. This is this worry that the masculine energy feels he doesn't quite know how to be happy. And I resonate with this too, because like I was saying, once this person was saying these things to me that I've really wanted to hear, I was like, I don't know what to do with this. The universe is like, bitch, you literally asked me to give you this so that you can be happy. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if this is too good to be true. So I'm kind of worried about it. And I'm also worried about losing the happiness that I put in that person that I was focused on. So the masculine energy is worried a little bit about getting a sunburn. Overwhelmed, I think, by the enlightenment experience that they've had. This is an internalizing of the enlightenment. So first we have this revelatory experience, and now we have to internalize that and make it part of us. And that process is a little overwhelming. So there is that concern that he doesn't really know how to be happy. He's like, I've got the cup full. Now what? Right? Now what? What do I do with this cup? I don't know what is going on. Like, usually I have more. Maybe I can put this here. I don't know. I don't. Things are just all messy. I hate that. Okay, let's keep going. The first thing on Divine Masculine's mind, Three of Cups. This is in the past placement. So in this particular card, we're seeing a lot of individuals. And it's a card that's associated with a reuniting and celebrating. It's associated with polyamory, third-party energy, welcome or unwelcome, I should say. Partying too much, taking things too lightly. I think that the masculine, though, is really thinking about the union aspect and fear of third parties. Because of the length of time the masculine energy has experienced in being able to come into this union, there is a fear here that someone else is going to come between himself and his divine feminine, or has in the past, and he's thinking about how that happened. This can be also an addiction, and I think that might be the case for some, because the next thing that's coming up is the Devil card in reverse. So we're seeing healing of codependencies, addictions, fears, anxieties, and my strong feeling is that this person who starts out with this full cup has filled their cup, and now they're reflecting upon how in the past they used a substance or a person or work, something that allowed them to remain in an uncomfortable place. 10:44 on the clock. It let the ego rule. So whatever it was that they were giving their energy to, rather than filling their own cup, that in this current moment, it doesn't have the bondage over them anymore. So if it was a substance, then they've actually made the step to release that substance. If it was a person. But that thing that was in the way of their happiness and feeling love and connection and doing what they want to do in the world, they've released it. The next thing that's coming up is Justice in reverse. So for some, because this is a collective reading, it could be that there was a partner that they have to go through the process of divorce, legal divorce. If it was a work contract, it could be having to get out of that work contract. If it was a substance, they could be now going through the phase where you have to go and make amends and express where you behaved in an unbalanced way, and acknowledge and accept how you did not treat people fairly. And it can also be about really having to learn hard lessons. Once you release the addiction or the substance and it's no longer has a hold over you, you now have to face the music. You have to look at how it affected your life, how it held you back. There could be some grief from that process too. It's like a bittersweet feeling of realizing what I realized yesterday. Because on the one hand, it's like, wow, I'm now open to receive what I've asked for. And on the other hand, it's like, yeah, and you spent a lot of time focused obsessively on a person who wasn't capable of that. And so there is grief there in that realization. Clarifying this Three of Cups, we're seeing the Five of Swords, which is that mental struggle. This is an intense Five of Swords. This deck is great, by the way. This is the Rachel Hart True Imperative, or True, oh my God. The Rachel Hart, I can never, ever remember the actual way to say this deck. True Heart Intuitive Tarot. There we go. This is a really great deck. I never see this deck used by readers on TikTok or YouTube. I don't think I've ever seen it used before. And it's really, really good. And she is the witch or the actress that played one of the witches in The Craft. She was actually a witch when she got cast in that role, which is really cool. And she created this deck, and it has a beautiful book that goes with it too, and she kind of talks about her life in it, and it's really interesting. So I highly recommend this deck. But this Five of Swords is really, really a powerful image, because it's showing how the Five of Swords is truly a mental defeat. It's like you can't handle the stress of the situation anymore, and you just really have to give up and walk away. So the masculine energy is like, I can't be in this situation where I'm competing with third parties for the attention of my person. Or I can't be in a situation where there is a third party that's keeping me from being able to be with my person or something like that. I'm giving up, I'm surrendering, and no longer fighting against whatever it is, allowing myself to be the third party that's coming between me and my person. I'm done doing that. I'm surrendering to the idea that I want to be in union, not waiting for union. I didn't sign up for this life to wait for union. I came here to do and be and have. And I've had to convince myself that what I was experiencing before was normal, and it wasn't. And I want to give that up. I don't want to be in that situation anymore. The Devil card in reverse is being clarified by the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And this is an energy here of that unworthiness. And so it really is showing us, it's also looking very much like, in some cases, a woman who's pregnant, which could even indicate like a baby mama or something. But really, it's showing us that the thing that was actually released is unworthiness. You know, the shock I was experiencing when this person was like, you know, he said something like, your ex-husband is a fool. Like, he gave up somebody, or like he would treat somebody like you that way. And just being sort of like, yeah, like they're like, I know I don't feel unworthy anymore of somebody noticing how worthy I am. And this is also for the masculine energy, giving up the feeling of not having a lot to bring to the table, not having a lot to offer. This is the total opposite. This is totally turning that around and changing that and being like, I actually do have a lot to bring to the table. And I've only been making these very small gestures that have not been significant enough to create the reality that I desire. Clarifying the Justice card in reverse, we have the Ace of Pentacles. This came out in today's TikTok reading for Divine Masculine, and it was in reverse, and I literally said in the reading, everything is about to turn around, and it literally turned around. And what it's showing me is that the masculine energy was not being fair to himself. He was thinking that he didn't really bring much, and all he really needed to bring was his desire to show up. Like, that's all he needed to bring. All he needed to do was just say, I'm here, and I want to be here for you and for me in whatever capacity that both of us would need us to be in. And so in some cases, he's either made an offer, so you might have experienced some kind of an offer, or he's ready to make an offer now. And understanding that he was not fair to himself in the past by not really acknowledging how much he could offer to the feminine energy, and instead was withholding his own happiness from himself. I'm using the Tarot of the 78 Doors today. I don't use this one much either. And the top of the deck for the Divine Masculine is, quite shockingly, the Six of Pentacles, which is that reciprocity. So the Divine Masculine is absolutely thinking and feeling that it is now appropriate to reciprocate. finally he's able to give to this feminine energy who's here with her child. And like, you get this sense that, she maybe has been in need in some way, and somebody's left this gift basket for her, and it's something that she's really needed. And the masculine is acutely aware of this. He's like, wow, this divine feminine who is incredible, who deserves to receive so much, who is herself so generous, she deserves to receive, and I want to be the one to give to her now. And that's a really beautiful energy. And the niggling feeling is that this is all quite shocking. This is the Tower. This is why we're seeing the Sun card in reverse. There is a feeling of overwhelmment about this divine revelation. The divine has intervened here. So in my case, the divine literally put someone into my awareness that was showing me what exactly I was doing wrong, because I was asking, like, what am I doing wrong? And the answer was like, the only thing you're doing wrong is thinking there's anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. And thinking that you needed to, do more to fill your cup when your cup is already full. And all you really needed to do was turn the cup upright. And this is sort of shocking, like, to us, to our person that we might be focused on, or to the person that is right for us, that we don't know yet in some cases. But it's quite shocking, and it can be uncomfortable, and it is. Like, I feel uncomfortable in this energy. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I don't know what to do with the person that says the things I want people to say to me. Because it's never happened like that before. It's never felt quite right. So it's really shocking, not necessarily comfortable, but it is in the places of discomfort, 10:55 on the clock, where you make the most progress and expansion. This Three of Cups is being clarified by the moon in the heart space. Again, we have this image of the divine feminine that's pregnant. So I do think that in some cases there are secrets that are hidden from the feminine energy about, the masculine may have had somebody that he has a baby with, or the problems he has with that person, or he's had to keep the reunion secret from that person. He's had to hide from her. And I think that makes him feel like he's constantly having to be this chameleon and like changing colors, changing and wearing a mask in situations. But this is all about the secrets he has had to keep. A person who keeps secrets from his past is likely to continue to keep secrets even from the divine feminine. So this has to be shifted, changed. He has to go and get into those deep emotions that he's really trying to hide in order to heal this energy to be able to be with anyone. This devil energy in reverse is being clarified by the Ten of Pentacles. There are two children here. I don't read reversals on the Tarot of the 78 Doors, which means not that I don't read reversals. I don't have reversals in that deck because I just kind of feel with the cards how I should read them. Not all decks are like that. Some decks I keep reversals in, but this one for some reason I always keep upright. But I can tell that there are two things being expressed here. Number one, once you release the attachment to whatever was holding you in bondage, you can now have the Ten of Pentacles, what makes you happy. And for some, because this is a collective message, this devil energy here may have been that they were in bondage to the family that they had, their previous family, which is why we keep seeing that the baby mama here coming in and out of the reading. And so that this could have been the reason that the masculine couldn't speak or come forward, why he was keeping things hidden, what he was really attached to. And he's either released this fear that he would lose, like, you know, maybe he thought that he would lose the love and affection from children in a previous marriage, or he wouldn't have access to those children because of somebody who was angry, or, you know, there's all kinds, there's so many people here, so it's really so many different layers that could be there. But releasing this attachment to this past is allowing the present to be now something that can make him very, very happy. This Justice card in reverse, I can't even believe it, is being clarified by the Judgment card, which I literally said it's time to face the music, and I thought, oh, I usually say that about the Judgment card, and then boom, there's the Judgment card. So again, those that had attachments, that had legal marriages, etc., they're freed from them. They're released from them, from unfair situations, from being in bondage to somebody that was unfair to you. This is freedom from that. This is being able to actually see what you've prayed for, what you've hoped for, what you've asked for. It's actually available to you, and it's forgiveness too. It's asking forgiveness for how he's been unfair. His heart space really wants to be forgiven for not treating himself fairly, which caused him to not treat the feminine fairly. So he's really wanting forgiveness there. It's crazy. But this Five of Swords is clarified by the Justice card, which we just saw. We just talked about underneath this Judgment card here. And this is in the past. So the masculine before was defeated by the contract he had, marriage contract, legal contract with a job. And it could have even just been his morals, like what he was taught, or his belief system, what he thought was ethical or correct. It was what was always defeating him. He was always having this mental struggle and then giving up. And now his heart space is feeling like he can open up the doors. Oh, that's funny. My brother's alarms just went off to wake him up. It's like, time to wake up. 55 people in the room. Wow, 9K likes. Thank you so much over here on the TikToks. I appreciate you. And thank you, Rachel. I can see you doing a absolutely amazing job of moderating right now. So thank you so much for that. So yes, we are seeing that he was often defeated by the justice system, by legal things that were binding him, by the fact that the situation was so unfair. And he's just kind of had to surrender. This is also for me surrendering this victimhood. That's like, oh, I can't do it because of this. It's like, that's not a thing. Like, our justice system in some places was made to be changed or transformed. It wasn't made to be static. It was literally made to be flexible so that it could grow and expand with our needs, with modernity, with change, which is the theme of the reading, right? So this was an excuse saying that, like, oh, you know, this is keeping me in bondage. No, it's not. You can break contracts. You can change laws. Like, so the masculine is aware of this in the heart space. The Princess of Pentacles in reverse being clarified by the Strength card. So the Divine Feminine in this image, or in the Strength card in general, is that receptive, connected to spirit, open, compassionate, kind, caring, loving energy that gentles the beast inside of self, that tames the fears, which of course we saw above us here in the Devil card. I have a Strength card in the Vice Versa Tarot that when you flip the card around, you can see that what the Divine Feminine and the Lion are standing in front of is actually the Devil. And so it is all about how this whole transformation has happened because the masculine has killed his ego. He has just said to his ego, you don't know shit about shit. Get the fuck out of here and stop telling me what the fuck to do. Because you don't have a full concept of the feminine energy. Like, you don't fully understand the emotional side of self. All you can do is think about what's going to go wrong And that is all an illusion. And there's a willingness here to allow the heart to have the same prominence as the head, and for them to work together instead of against one another. So no longer being defeated by your unworthiness, but actually tuning into your strength that you have and the resolve that you have to face your fears. Clarifying the Ace of Pentacles. It's the Two of Cups. And here we see children. And I like this because it's like healed inner children finally meeting a meeting of the hearts and minds. And there's a gift being given, and both of them have gifts, and they're exchanging it. And there are two roses here, and it gives me that same feeling that this offer is now reflected back to you. Now this is not a situation that is unfair anymore. Now the masculine energy absolutely has someone in front of them that they can give equally to, and that is beautiful. So very happy about the masculine energy over here. Makes a lot of sense and really resonates with me. We are going to end up going and looking at the archetypes, the spirit guides, different advice that will help you in the masculine energy for this week. But first we're going to go over to Divine Feminine and take a look what's going on with her. So let me flip over her headspace. I'm going to use the Tarot of the Mystical Moments today in headspace, and the Uncommon Tarot in the heart space. And let us begin. Top of the deck, overall headspace for the Divine Feminine, the Emperor. But not just any Emperor. This is the Emperor that is the female Emperor in this deck. This deck has female kings and a female Emperor, and it also has masculine kings and a masculine Emperor. And I really love that about this deck. And so the Divine Feminine is really thinking of herself in all of her worthiness and her ability to have control over her emotions, to have a stable foundation, to command an empire, to have control over her sexual energy, her aggression, her ego. This is a card that is about ego. When it is in reverse, it is not a pretty type of energy, but when it is upright, it doesn't get much better than that in this deck. So she is feeling that she is fully embodying her own Emperor energy. And because of that, it is inevitable that the people who come around her will absolutely be in that resonance with her. They will be in alignment with that energy. Underlying all her thoughts and decisions is the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is about a painful ending, a painful situation. It's often referred to as the card of separation, being in a painful separation. And the really interesting thing about it is we're seeing her think, it was all in my head. It was all in my head. All along, I was this energy. I was able to pour into my own cup. I was able to take my energy from somebody who wasn't given to me and put it into myself. And the moment I did that, that ended this illusion that I was separate. I'm not separate from the masculine energy. I am the masculine energy. And the fact that I was attracting people who were not actually aware of their own energy is because I wasn't either. And now that I am, I'm not going to be in separation anymore. I will be able to be with my divine masculine as expressed through the person of my choice, no matter what gender that person is, because I'm never talking about gender. So this is a really positive place for the feminine to be in her headspace. Oops, I just put those back in the wrong order. The first thing on her mind is herself as the King of Swords, because she has had to be her own strategist. She has had to figure out, because there hasn't been anybody standing with her, she has had to figure out how to take her dreams and her desires and weave the fabric of her reality, to literally pluck her wishes out of the sky and build her whole reality around her. And she is feeling capable of this. I also think she has this awareness that she has had to be emotionally detached, because in order to create the life that she has wanted to live, she's had to acknowledge her own emotional unavailability. The trauma that she's experienced in her life, that was triggered by the people that she continued to attract, caused her to put up armor, to use fantasy and dreams to protect herself from actually having to go out into the world and try to find somebody who was just like her. It was something that she really wasn't ready for, even though she kept saying, I'm ready for it, I'm ready for it, I'm ready for it. Her own ability to really allow herself to be vulnerable was still being worked on. And she's aware of that that's what she's been working on in her past. In the present moment, we have the Knight of Wands energy. So it's coming in hot kind of an energy. Passionate, sweeping you off your feet, jumping through hoops to try to make sure that you know that this person is absolutely passionate for you. So how often have we made excuses for the specific person we're focused on? We're like, oh, this person can't do this and that and the other thing. And then jump through hoops ourselves to try to ensure that that person knows that we're here for them and we love them. We've walked on eggshells so that they wouldn't be scared and like leave. We've done all the jumping through the hoops. And there's been no jumping through hoops on our part, and all the excuses made in the world for that. Oh, well, there's this, that, and the other thing. Is there any excuse for not coming in and expressing your fire and passion for someone that really flies? Like, that really is that acceptable? And here I'm not saying, like, if he wanted to, he would, because that is a generalization. That is an oversimplification. It is black and white thinking, and black and white thinking does never serve us. Black and white thinking is divisive. It's not helpful. But there is truth in that statement. When you want something badly enough, you will jump through hoops to get it. Divine Feminine knows that because she's done it. And now that she is aware of what she's been doing 11:11 on the clock, she is prepared now to see the same energy come back to her swiftly, sweeping her off her feet, saying the things that she has been saying, reflecting back to her what? The Six of Pentacles, the reciprocation that the masculine is feeling over on his side. This is what she knows she is basically going to receive. And I love this image because it shows these two feminines and they're like having tea. And then it shows this tiny masculine up here. So I always get the sense that they're talking about how this person doesn't reciprocate, how it is imbalanced. And there is an awareness Divine Feminine has that it is her perpetuating the theme of not, it's, oh wow, it was, I just realized it was 7-11-11-11. But so she is understanding how the conversations that she has about the reciprocation literally has created the likelihood that she was going to attract someone who could appropriately reciprocate with her. She's really understanding that she was experiencing reciprocal energy. She was experiencing the reciprocation of her talking about how she didn't get it. She didn't get what she poured in. She poured in a lot and didn't get anything at all. And she's like, I don't understand why I'm not getting what I put in. And it's because you were talking about how you don't. So that energy is reciprocal. If you're saying, I don't have what I want, then the universe is complying. It's like, oh, you don't have what you want. That's reciprocated back to you. And now she's getting the sense of that the external environment is merely a way of understanding what is going on internally. And the words you're using and the conversations you're having are creating the reality that you're experiencing. Clarifying the King of Swords in the headspace, we have the Page of Pentacles, which we saw over here on the Divine Masculine side. This is in the current energy. In this card, we're seeing a feminine, and she is got a watering can, and there's a dragonfly also here on the card. So there's enlightenment coming from the dragonfly. Is when something comes to light, it reveals something that we didn't, and it kind of catches our attention. And Divine Feminine is understanding that she had to take these small steps. Like she couldn't really do more than make these small gestures emotionally because of how she was trying to weave the fabric of her reality. And like I said, having to acknowledge her emotional unavailability because of the traumas that happened to her in childhood. And there is a childishness about how dreams are actually achieved. You know, like there's an excitement and discovery that is in the Page of Pentacles. It's like, ooh, what's this? I found a shiny coin. But you have to take the coin. You have to invest the coin. You have to water it. You have to nurture it to get it to become the ace here that's full of this abundance and prosperity. Like to actually grow it into something and expand it into something, you have to do more than just wish for it. You have to make the moves, actually strategize. And you do that one small step at a time. And Divine Feminine has been doing that. And that's why we're seeing this here. She's achieving her dreams because she's been willing to take those small steps. She's left her childishness behind that thought that, oh, you could just make a wish and it would happen. Clarifying the Knight of Wands, we have the Five of Wands. And this is very interesting because the Knight of Wands typically is identified with player energy, and we're seeing her here playing a game. And if you look at the game that she's playing, she's holding the feminine close to her chest, and she's either pulling the masculine towards her or pushing him away, depending on how you're... I'm just noticing that I lost my connection here over on TikTok. Hi, sorry if I kind of paused there for a moment. My connection's a little... But we're seeing her either pushing or pulling away this masculine energy. And then we're actually seeing these other players. There's a feminine over here. Looks like there might be sort of a non-binary or feminine energy. It's kind of androgynous. And then another masculine energy here. So there is this all these games that were being played in the current situation. And it's like she was holding her emotions close to her heart, close to her chest. And she wanted to play this game. Like she wanted to be able to choose one of these masculines and establish the Four of Wands, or one of these people rather. It doesn't even have to be a masculine energy, but one of these people. She wanted to be able to actually play the game. And there was either this one that she wanted to bring close to her or to push away that she didn't want to experience anymore. And this is what was keeping her stuck, like this mental struggle. It's like, I want this person, but they're not actually coming towards me. And I'm jumping through all these hoops to try to like be with them, but they're not really doing anything for me. And I don't know if I should keep them close to me or push them away. And it was this back and forth and back and forth. and very frustrating energy for her. That's how it has felt currently. Like she's blocked in receiving that energy to be swept off her feet. Clarifying the Six of Pentacles, we have the Lover's card. And this Lover's card is very interesting because this young girl is clinging to a bird. But it's not a bird. It's a person wearing some kind of a bird costume. And that bird is a blue jay. And blue jays are mean. They're not nice. They're very territorial. They are beautiful to look at. They're one of the most, like when a blue jay alights on a branch near you, you definitely will notice it because they are truly blue and very, very beautiful birds. And then when you watch them behave, they're like literally sons of bitches. Like they're so mean. And they will attack anything or anyone that comes close to their nest. So she has been clinging to somebody who has been so territorial of their own home, their own safety zone, their own personal space, that they have actually maybe even lashed out or been cruel. And she learned to love this person. And even though this person didn't reciprocate with her, because he was wearing this mask, because he was wearing this this protection, she still learned to love him. And it is in this dynamic that she does learn to have love for herself. Like that, everybody freaking out about that Ace of Cups yesterday and being like, I do love myself. It's like, yes, you do. And it is precisely through this person that you have learned this. I'm seeing Rachel say, I drew blue jays with top hats as a preteen, and it's how I started art. Oh my God, I love that. Oh, and also, I'm so connected to this reading. I love that too. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm seeing my regulars. Happy to see my prayers. My band is Pearl in the Prayers, and I often say it's not just my session musicians I hire that are my prayers. It's everybody who supports my music and supports the work that I do and is partaking of these messages. So I thank you, my prayers. All right, let's continue. That was Divine Feminine's head space. Now look at her heart space. Oh, feminine, you're just glowing today. We're getting the Eight of Pentacles. It was the first card out in the reading that I did in a different deck for the feminine today. It's the top of the deck for heart space, clarifying her Emperor energy. Why does the feminine feel like she is in union in self, head and heart, embodying feminine and masculine energy? Because she has finally let herself do the work she's wanted to do in this world. She is putting the energy that she was putting into someone else, into her own craft, into her own self, into working on herself and creating the person that she really wants to be in the world, which for a long time she thought she would be when she was with the specific person she was focused on. And it didn't seem to make sense why it wouldn't work out. And now there is this sense that she has that if I had gotten together with this specific person long before now, I never would have known my authentic self. I never would have embraced that I was capable of what I'm truly capable of. Because it is only in being alone and being forced to do what I had to do to make the best life for myself that I actually bothered to do it. And if I had been with someone else, it would have been about that person. It would have been about the dynamic between us and about our shared goals and our shared values. And that is fine as long as you know who you are before you get into a relationship. Because if you don't know who you are and you get into a relationship with anyone, whether it's your twin or a karmic partner or a soulmate, you are not going to be able to stay authentic to yourself because you don't know who that is. And you will sublimate your needs and allow the dominant energy in the relationship to drive the chariot. You will allow the other person's ego, 11:22 on the clock, to be more important than your own. The niggling feeling in her heart space, the Ace of Pentacles. This is very poignant It is the outcome in the masculine's heart space, and it is the underlying energy of the feminine's heart space. Look at the energy of these hands as the way that I'm holding these cards, how one thing leads to another, how offering something leads to receiving, and how receiving leads to wanting to make an offer. This is the reciprocation Divine Feminine has been dreaming about, and it's literally here in the reading present. It's the niggling feeling. She feels that she has the potential to receive an offer that matches her, precisely because she's been crafting this offer that she wants to present to the world. The first thing on her mind is the King of Swords. It is being clarified by the Ten of Cups. So we can see what wishes she was trying to fulfill and how she was trying to strategize receiving it. And that journey has taught her that she brings about her own bliss fulfillment, that she is able to experience joy and happiness through her own strategy, through her own weaving of her own reality, through her thoughts that she has. It is in thinking about her desires, what she feels she wants to bring into the world, that she creates it in the world. And she's acutely aware of this. And who should have chills? Who should clarify the Knight of Wands but the Queen of Wands? The Queen of Wands is someone who has the power to attract the swift-moving, passionate energy. These are the knights who are willing to go to battle for her without any weapons. They are just going to get into the fray. They're going to throw caution to the wind. They're going to be spontaneous. Thank you so much for the cream. They are going to be capable of swiftly enacting the vision that this queen has. This also means this bitch is going to be attracting a lot of energy. As I'm talking to you right now on TikTok, I am getting messages from the person that I met, from someone else from my past I just saw pop up and start sending me messages. This is going to probably be overwhelming to the feminine, because now that she's embodying this energy, it's literally going to be like, well, which one of these fools do you want? Which one do you want? And it better not be that smelly old one that still doesn't do anything. The only ones that you should be considering right now are the people who are showing up the way you are showing up. So if that other person that you focus on isn't here with you, that is your clearest indication that that person is not your person. As much as your ego really wants that person to be your person, if they were your person, it would be clear. A queen like this, she's able to attract what she needs exactly when she needs it, when she needs it. And she's certainly going to repel anything that isn't capable of handling an energy like hers. Anyone that might be intimidated, anyone who doesn't feel like they have the confidence to match her, they're not going to be coming up. They're not her match. If your person isn't as confident as you are, doesn't have that power and vision and magnetism that you have, then they are a person who was somebody that you manifested from your past version of self that didn't feel like a Queen of Wands. That is where they come from, and that is where they are now. And if they do not have the free will to tune into their inner divine feminine power, they cannot be with you ever. Ever. They have to have that skill. They have to have that dedication. They have to be able to reciprocate. The Six of Pentacles is clarified by the Lovers. Clarified by the Lovers. Both sides. I love when that happens. This divine feminine is so in tune right now. Look at the reciprocation in this card. In this card we had, in her headspace, we had her loving somebody who was wearing this armor, who was not easy to love, and who taught her how to love herself. Because if this person's not putting their arms around you, then you're going to have to put your arms around yourself, right? In this image, we have two people completely vulnerable with one another. Totally exposed. Nobody's wearing any masks. Nobody's wearing any costumes, being territorial. They're back to back as if they're supporting each other. They don't even have to look at each other to know that they are there, to know that they are in love. That's really powerful. I remember there was a person that I had a crush on, and about, I guess it was back in like October. So thank you so much for the gifts. I'm getting so many gifts over here. I really appreciate it. And it never went anywhere with us. We're still really good friends, but I definitely we were crushing on each other, and it seemed like it might be romantic. And at his birthday party, when his friends were meeting me, some of his close friends were meeting me for the first time, they were just like, "Oh my God, you're so much like this person," and like, "How did you meet this person?" And like, "You're really remind me of this person." And there was this one moment in the evening when we were back to back, and there were his friends, you know, on either side of us, and we were both talking, and we were like circling, and I was laughing. I was like, we're like, and everyone around us was laughing. Like everybody we were talking to, they were like, ah, and then we like turn and like laugh and talk, and I could feel his back like literally against mine. And it was so funny because I was like, we're literally like a comedy tag team at this point. Like everyone in this place is like, wondering how this energy works so well together, and not meant to be, but that feeling of us being back to back and facing the world like that, and just being aware of each other and enjoying the fact that we each had the ability to entertain people at the same level. And bring joy, was such a good feeling. And I was like, oh, I really want to have that feeling with whatever person I'm with. And I'm getting that memory coming back to me of this in this image, that you have the power to be, to be like a tag team, basically, to face everything around you with that support, and not to have to even look at each other to know that you are both shining. Like that's such a beautiful energy I'm seeing. Then we're getting here the Page of Pentacles being clarified by the Hermit. And this is what Divine Feminine basically was having to do in order to get to this point she's achieved. She really did have to be on her own. She had to deal with the inner child that was, you know, pretty overly romantic about how things were going to happen. She thought that she was going to be in that tag team and that they were going to do all these things together and she was going to become this person. But it was really being on her own and taking things one step at a time that is what empowered her to be who she is now. The person that she was focused on was a catalyst for her growth. It was a necessary experience to be triggered into that growth. But that person did not have to be at her side for her to become her authentic self. In fact, he couldn't be at her side when she did that. This Five of Wands, this constant internal struggle, this playing of games, this pushing and pulling, it's done. This is the Six of Swords. This is moving away. This is a painful situation to be in. It is blocked. There is no movement. Nobody can win this game. And Divine Feminine is not about it anymore. She's leaving that behind. No more games. No more like, oh, I'll say this and then maybe my person will do that. No, this is a transformation. This is changing forever. Thank you so much. I just saw that little cute little dinosaur. The Lover's card, very interestingly being clarified by the Devil. Now the Devil, just like the Sun card, has shadow and light in it. A lot of people hold up the Sun card and they're like, oh, it's the most auspicious card in the deck and it's joy and happiness and bliss. And it is. But it's also, did you ever have to put sunscreen on? It's also a scenario that if you are in the sun too long, your ass is going to get burnt. If a plant it doesn't get enough rain, it's going to be dried up into a husk. Like, you can't just have the sun all the time. And you also can't be in a situation where you never experience pleasure. Because the light of the Devil card is the ability to allow yourself to experience pleasure. And Divine Feminine did not experience pleasure in this situation. It is not pleasurable to love somebody who is cold and unfeeling and territorial and mean and aggressive and withholding and hiding. That is like loving the shadow parts of self, which you do have to learn to do in order to grow and be able to receive love. So that person really helped her, but that is what we would call here on Tuned in Tarot a karmic lesson. And it is in her heart that she is realizing that that is what was happening with the specific person that she has been focused on. Now, you can learn a karmic lesson with every single person. And learning a karmic lesson, 1133, with your twin flame is just the same as learning a karmic lesson with a person that's only going to be temporary in your life. So this doesn't mean that the person that she thinks is her twin is necessarily just a karmic lesson, but it can also mean that. So you have to really feel out where you are. And part of the twin flame journey is always doubting. So there is, to me, a benefit in believing that every person, even a person that you want to be your twin, is a karmic lesson. Because if you look at it that way, and remember that karmic doesn't mean bad, it means lessons. So you can learn, like the person I'm talking to right now, maybe that's a karmic person, but they're teaching me lessons that are good to learn. They're making me feel good. They are showing me that I can be loved, that somebody will value me. That's a good karmic lesson. Just treat every relationship as if it's something you're meant to learn from. Don't get caught up in whether you're supposed to be with someone for eternity. There is no use in that. It is not helpful. It's not helpful to you, I promise. It is what's keeping you stuck in that mental struggle. Let go of thinking you know what is best for you, because if you were here at the beginning of the reading, or you have been at my readings before, and I present you that opportunity to think about what you think would be best for you, and then I show you what you actually need and it doesn't line up, that is your most valuable lesson, that your ego does not always know what you need. In fact, often it just knows what it is used to surviving. And I don't think you want to be in a state of survival for the rest of your life. I think you want to thrive. And the opportunity to thrive comes when you can release the fixation that this one person has had over you. All right, we're at an hour and 12 minutes. This has been a deep, deep reading of Divine Feminine and Masculine. And I'm going to start the oracles now. I'm going to try to be clippy and get through these quick and not go on so much about them. But I bring the messages in that need to come in. This is the most important part of the reading. Everybody always wants to see the beginning of the reading because they want to know what their person is thinking and feeling. No shame in that. But the most valuable part of my readings are the oracles, because this is the part that tells you what you can do to shift the experiences you're having. Knowing where you're at is great. Knowing how to work with where you're at is way more beneficial. So take the advice that you're getting from these cards today, and there are a lot of them, and you will do well. Okay, the Divine Masculine angel that is supporting him today, I decided I would do this. I would give the Divine Masculine and Feminine each an angel, and then they have one for their union. We have, I did this to myself because I have to pronounce all of these angels. I am not Hebrew, or I don't speak Hebrew, but I love to be corrected. So if you know the actual pronunciation of these things, you can let me know in the comments. But this is Hakamia, and probably Hakamia. And it is the Strength card. It says the Raising God, loyalty, delivery from those who seek to oppress, and brings victory. So this is the angel. If you want to do research on this angel or learn about this angel, if you're interested in angels, Hakamia is the masculine angel for today. And he also had strength come up in his reading. So it is really poignant for him that he continued to control that ego that, as we just talked about, can often lead you astray. That is his angel. The archetype that is helping Divine Masculine right now is Femme Fatale. It is highlighting the erotic energy of the feminine and opening your heart when your dependency is rejected. And it's releasing any of the shadow attributes, which include the inappropriate use of sensuality and an attachment to money and power. So the Divine Masculine has had rejection and abandonment issues. And what is helping him this week is opening his heart when dependency is rejected. Just because the divine feminine is independent does not mean she doesn't love him. And he needs to open his heart and understand that independence and the ability to be both masculine and feminine inside of self is not a rejection. In fact, it's liberating you from bondage. All right, everybody, hydrate. There's coconut water in my coffee. It is hydrating. The guardian angel that's here to support him is this sweetness energy. And this is, it's funny because I just had, that coffee is pretty sweet today. This is being sweet to the self, being sweet to the divine feminine energy, being gentle. The deer spirit is definitely about, you know, negotiating, compromising. Did anybody see the documentary on Netflix called Keep Sweet and Obey or something like that, about the Warren Jeffs and the LDS? That shit was intense. But I was going to say, sometimes keeping sweet isn't a good thing. Sometimes we can have too much sweetness. But I really do think that the masculine is feeling like he needs nurturing. And so his guardian angel is there to support him in that nurturing energy so that he feels like he can tap into that sweetness. The mindset that's going to help the masculine energy this week is, my vibes speak louder than my words. This is something he already knows, but it is something that he really needs to understand. You can say all the words you want to say in the world, but it's your vibration that really makes a difference. So you can say an affirmation over and over all day long, but if you really aren't in vibration with the affirmation, it's not really going to do much good for you. That's why it's better to have your affirmations happen right before you're falling asleep, where you're not going to resist them. Your vibration is sort of set. You have to do some of the shifting and changing to get your vibration to change. And it's much louder than the words you're saying. So he's really got to embrace that. That he might say things to the feminine, but his vibration is telling a different story. The spiritual work that might need to happen this week is things that are emphasizing financial health. I just heard of a really good one to do. I remembered learning this years ago from Abraham Hicks. My friend sent it to me. It might be fun to do. Go to the bank and ask them if you can have some deposit slips, like a whole bunch of them, like one of their packets of them. And then get withdrawal slips. And get a box. And every single day, the first day, I want you to deposit $1,000. And then I want you to spend $1,000. This is your play money. You're going to be a child here. You're going to be childlike. The next day, you're going to deposit $2,000. And you're going to spend it. The third day, you're going to do $3,000. And this is just an activity you can do. It's actually hard to do. I've done it before. You think it's going to be easy. It's actually not. It's actually not easy. You have to think about what you're going to spend it on. And you have to energetically spend it. You're going to find yourself hoarding it, which then you're going to be like, wait, I'm going to get 3,000 tomorrow. Wait, I'm going to get 4,000 tomorrow. Wait, I'm going to get 5,000 tomorrow. 6,000, 7,000, and just do it for as long as feels good. Watch your financial health change. It will absolutely change because you are not used to spending that infinite abundance that's available to you and believing that it's coming every day. This is a way to energetically practice. It's called sympathetic magic. The animal spirit oracle we're getting today is Seahorse Spirit, Watch and Wait. And it's so interesting because the person that I'm talking to said that this morning. They basically said, wait and see. And it's the same page I was on. So I really liked that. And so I thought instantly of this card. But the protection message that's coming out from Seahorse Spirit of Watch and Wait is... Are you holding on to judgment, sure that your perspective is the only correct way to look at things? There are as many perspectives as there are creatures in the sea. And when Seahorse Spirit appears, you are reminded to detach from the experience so you can view it from more than one angle. Pay attention to your hidden beliefs and how they affect the way you think, feel, and act. Are you being fair to all involved, or do you need to step back? Perhaps the drama you have been drawn into is your own. Whatever the actions of others, your challenge is to be non-reactive and not take their words or behaviors personally. Their turbulence may have little to do with you, so remain neutral until you know more. Your perspective might be quite different in time. So that is your advice this week, and the spirit animal oracle that is helping you with that energy. This masculine, oh my God, is getting this water card from my shamanic healing deck. So for me, this is allowing emotion, because there was a resistance to this emotion, right? And what's really crazy, and the reason why I said, oh my God, is because the first thing on Divine Masculine's mind was the Ace of Cups. We're ending his reading here with this water, which says on the bottom, expression. And then what is the card that is his theme for the week? Oh, it's just the Ace of Cups. Do you love that? I don't even have to say anything about this card, because I talked at length about it at the beginning of the reading. And if you missed it over here on TikTok, you can see this entire reading over on YouTube once I upload it, which will probably be in a few hours. It will be available for you to watch, but you can see the beginning if you missed it. And I went on at length about the Ace of Cups. It is the Divine Masculine's theme. And the good news is he's thinking a lot about it. So he's already able to start working on this energy this week, because he's already in the mindset of giving and receiving love from a cup that is filled up by the divine. Gorgeous oracles for the masculine. Let's see what the feminine oracles are like. This is what will help you in those that are really resonating in their divine feminine energy. Both things are your assignment. Please don't think that your person is supposed to do what the masculine energy is supposed to do and you're supposed to do what the feminine energy. No, 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 no. Your person is not the divine masculine. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Your person is your specific person. You are a person that is embodying divine masculine and divine feminine energy, and that person is doing the same. And if you want to heal, you have to do both assignments. Actually, all three, because there are the cards coming out for the union at the very end, because I pulled the bottom of the deck. Divine Feminine, your angel that is supporting you right now it's very interesting, because, oh, that is so interesting. The angel that came out for the masculine was the Strength card, which fell in the middle position in the heart space. The angel that came out for the Divine Feminine is the Six of Swords, which is the card that is in the middle position in the heart space, which means both the masculine and feminine are currently being supported in the energy of strength and learning and transforming oneself and moving to a calmer shore. They are both being supported by the angels that specialize in those things. How wild is that? That's incredible. This card says on Anauel, 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 if you want to look up this angel. The gentle God. Perception of unity, protects against accidents, and heals the sick. And so, Divine Feminine, you're being supported in having learned those lessons, and you're being taken to this new shore. And you are now going to perceive unity instead of separation. That is what this angel is helping you with this week. Love that. Your archetype that is serving you this week, Divine Feminine, is the Destroyer. And I did a big summoning to Hecate and Isis, Sedna, and Kalima. And I was like, y'all need to come and help me, like, get my power back. And I gotta tell you, they sure did. And the Destroyer energy is releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for new life. As much as my ego is attached to my specific person that I have focused on for many years, my heart wants to have a fresh start, a new life. I don't want to live in the past. I want to release the past and live in the present. I love that energy. That is the archetype that is going to serve you this week. Saint Hildegard von Bingen is here to help you with your belief. believing. What's really interesting about this is it was in reverse, because I think you did believe, but I think that what you believed in was actually hurting you. And she's helping you to see that the beliefs that you have held have actually harmed you more than helped you. And I'm instantly thinking of people who think that their specific person is the only person that they should be with. That is not a belief that's serving you. You really do need to believe that the only person that you are going to be with for the rest of your life is you. Because we are temporary beings. You are always going to be eternal. But the person that you're focused on in this life is temporary. So not even the person that you identify your twin is meant to be with you for your entire life. Most likely they will pass, or you will pass into your next incarnation and travel again into another experience. Or maybe you will ascend and not come down and play on the planet anymore, depending on what your choices are. But your belief that you can only have one path has not served you, and she's here to bring you enlightenment, that you can shift your beliefs and change your reality and believe in what will serve you instead of what will not. You already know this, but you are being called to really repeat this to yourself this week. When I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. So just keep focusing on the light that's within you, even in your hermit energy. And you will see the whole world through the lens of love, even the most painful, frustrating aspects of it. The spiritual work that you might want to do this week has to do with fertility. This is in its reverse. So you might have felt like you have run out of ideas, or you're not sort of allowing the ideas you have to take hold and really grow into anything. They might just be sort of sitting there in a notebook, and you might not be really nurturing and gestating and preparing for them to be born into the world. And you're meant to tune into how abundant and prosperous your ideas truly are. And your own Empress energy. This is that commandment last night from the reading on TikTok that said you need to know who you are. You are the Empress, right? So I really feel that being in your creative energy this week is really going to serve you. Doing something that makes you feel expansive, that makes you feel like you're growing and changing rather than sort of shrinking and diminishing. Your protection your protection message this week comes from Bat Spirit. It says a rebirth is assured. It is number 5, which is, I opened right to it, which is making me think of that 5 of Wands we saw for you. Ooh, Divine Feminine. What are you refusing to let die? Bat Spirit is gently nudging you to let go of your need to cling to the familiar story that has already run its course. A new story is poised to be born. Some dreams were only meant to last for a moment in time. Sometimes they were only there to slow you down as you recalibrated in preparation for the new life that will give you what you really want. Perhaps you need to grieve as you say goodbye to something. At least, you're saying goodbye to its familiar form. Perhaps you must let go of a part of you that must die so you can be reborn. This temporary time in the dark doesn't have to be scary or sad, though. Bat Spirit gives you her powers of perception and awareness as you learn to listen deeply and navigate these unknown caves of temporary emptiness. You will emerge with a new perspective, and Bat Spirit will witness your giving birth to the life that matches the intentions and desires of your heart and soul. Wow. Did I not? It's like, did I stutter? Like my spirit guides are like, bitch, I already said that, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that what I said was true. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Slam the door, as my beautiful niece used to sing. She's so much older now. When I went to see her I finally got to see her and her sister again recently, and she's so much older. And I was like, I know you don't remember this, but you used to put on your frozen princess dress, and she's like the tomboy of the two girls, and this was it was she was just like rough and tumble, and she's just like very active, energetic, and um but she would put on that frozen dress over her like messy clothes. Her hair would be all crazy, and she would be running around and around and around. And the only lyrics she knew to that song, and this was like when she was like 2, she would be like, let it go, slam the door, like with her like arms like wide. And then she just kept singing that over and over. So I can't say let it go without picturing my lovely little Vera running around the kitchen singing that song. It's so cute. I was telling her that story, and she was just like, totally. I'm like, I know you're too old now to care about how cute you were, but you were so cute. Shapeshifter and perspective, which is really similar to the hanged man energy of that bat spirit of gaining the perspective that you need. But this card comes up constantly for feminine energy. It's really embodying the energy that you want to have. It's shifting and into the, in this case, a spirit animal who has the characteristics that will help you achieve what you want to achieve. And it's being able to move and change as your perspective changes, flowing with it. So not holding on to that thing that's keeping you stuck, but changing and shifting your perspective of the specific person you've been focused on. Your theme this week is the 7 of Wands. So you really do need to stand your ground against any behaviors you have that would seek to destabilize you. You have habits, they die hard, right? Habits die hard. The way to replace habits, or the way to break habits, is to replace them with new ones. So if you've been watching tarot readings every day about your specific person, then I want you to watch tarot reading every day about your career. Just one every day that's about you. You can still watch the other ones, but you just need to watch one every day that is about you, that doesn't mention another person. That is one way to start to form a new habit, because really what you're doing is just an old habit. It is destabilizing you though. So maybe write down the habits that you kind of, you really want to shift or change. And rather than being restrictive in those habits, I just want you to write down on another piece of paper the things you want to bring into your life. Like, I really want to be more active. So I really want to make a habit of being more active in some way, whether that's walking my dog or doing yoga or going on a hike or swimming or something. It doesn't have to be the same activity, but I want to do it every day. And then I want to make that a habit. So rather than try to keep myself from sitting all day and be like, oh, you can't sit, you have to get up and do something, I'm just going to be like, I want to start this new habit. So that's how you change things that are destabilizing you. People look at the 7 of Wands and they talk about you're defending yourself against other people. That's not really the case. All of these wands are ideas. So you have an idea that you have to fight, you're going to have people who will fight you. Like I was saying before, I attract people who might be extreme Christians or something and be afraid of tarot readings or whatever. So that's just an idea I have. I have this idea that, like, because I was afraid as a Catholic to start to shift into being more open to other religions, other concepts, and practicing witchcraft or whatever. I thought I was going to be evil or devilish or something. So I just have those residual fears inside me. I have ideas about what people who are of other belief systems will think about me. And rather than fight against those people who come into the chat occasionally, I really just need to shift my ideas about them. So one of the things that I have been doing is I have been saying, you know what? When people come up in the chat and say things like that, I'm like, you know, I realize that you are actually wanting to do what I'm doing. You're wanting to help people. And your idea of helping people is based on your belief system. And my idea of helping people is based on mine. And I know that that's all you're doing. And I honestly welcome anybody who wants to help me. And if we can't have a discussion because your knowledge is limited about what I know and my knowledge is limited about what you know, then let's just agree that we're both trying to do the same thing. And just approach that whole interaction differently. Same thing happens with trolls who like say shit about my body weight. That happens all the time. And I used to just mute them. And now actually what I do is I say like, hey, genuinely, I'm really sorry because I know there is somebody in your life who spoke to you this way. There is somebody who spoke to you, a parent, a caregiver, an aunt, an uncle, siblings, people at school, but someone made you feel so bad, and I'm sending you love and healing. That changes the dynamic because that person is after something I can't give them. So changing behaviors, changing your ideas, changing your concepts, and standing the ground for what it is that you love, what you're passionate about, not letting those things affect what you're doing. That's the theme of the Seven of Wands. All right, we're at that final stage of the reading. This is the part where I tell you all the things that you might want to know about what you can do on my website and when you can see me and all that good stuff. So I'm going to take this moment to say, if you would like a personal reading today, I will be doing them for a little while over here on TikTok. On TikTok, I offer personal readings for $11, $22, and $33. On my website, you can book private readings starting at $33. There's also the $44 Tell Me Everything reading. That is a very popular reading that I do, which is based on a spread that I designed, which many people on TikTok know because I do 3-minute versions of those readings. But there's a much longer reading that you can either see live on Thursdays on TikTok or watch the replay if you are a member of my website. It is... Sorry, I was just getting a phone call, which interrupted my feed, so I have to wait for my internet connection to come back on my phone. Okay, it's back. Sorry, I got a phone call. So, if you want to see those replays of the Tell Me Everything spread or the Learn Tarot spread that I do on Fridays, which is teaching the tarot deck one card at a time. We've done 4 weeks, and you can see all 4 weeks as a member. It is $3.33 to become a member. You can click the link below if you're on YouTube, and all of the links you could possibly ever need are there. And if you are over here on TikTok, you can go to my profile, click the link in my profile. That's a website page that kind of has everything laid out for you. You can also send a donation today if you really felt that you got a lot of value from this reading or that you generally do get value from my readings. Please, I definitely can use the support. This is the work that I do in the world. I rely on donations and private readings and sessions with people, which I have 2 openings still for the Spiritual Initiate package on my website. It is $360 for 4 sessions, so that is a discount because to do an hour-long virtual or personal session with me is $111 on my site. You are able to use those sessions for anything. It can be for readings if you want them. It can be for guidance in what you want to do, find your passions. You can learn tarot privately with me. It's really up to you to decide what you would like to work with, and we will make it custom designed for you. That is available still. It is under the packages link. When you click on booking, there's a little drop-down menu for packages. Click there and you'll find that. Once I have 2 people, I will probably close that program. Just because I have to fit it in around all the lives I do, and I also have to keep time open for private readings. My schedule. If you want to see my schedule, click the link in my TikTok profile. You will see all the live events I do on TikTok. I'm trying to do them about a week in advance, but that schedule is going to be pretty consistent, so you can rely, like, every Monday I'm going to be here around 10 a.m., and 10 p.m. at night on Mondays. And every Wednesday I'm doing 7 to 9 in the morning. Replays are available for members, different things like that. That's all in the link in my profile on TikTok. And I'm going to try to put a calendar up on my website as well. I just haven't done it yet. So that's all the things that I can think of. Tomorrow I have off. If you book a reading and you don't hear from me on a Tuesday, don't worry. I will message you first thing on Wednesday morning. But Tuesday is my only day off, so I do not read cards that day. And sometimes I have my assistant handle my emails, but I haven't had a ton of them, so I've been doing it myself. That is all. Okay, that is everything. Now we're going to close out this reading with the oracles for both masculine and feminine. This is your third homework assignment. I hope you took notes. If you didn't, you can catch this all on the Tuned In Tarot YouTube replay. This final message. If you are only following me on TikTok right now, I strongly recommend that you follow me on my YouTube and my Instagram, because the FCC has got its panties in a bind over TikTok. And while I do think that the Apple and Android are greedy enough that they're not going to want to get rid of the revenue that they get from TikTok, it is possible that they could ban or restrict the app in some way. So if you want to stay up to date and in tune with these readings, make sure you go and follow me on all those platforms, just in case we lose this option. All right, now I'm ready. Here's the angel that is supporting both masculine and feminine energy, and it kills me because it's the Four of Wands. It says God the Savior, and this angel is called Mahasya. Mahasya, or Mahashya, rectification helps one live in peace with everyone. So this is definitely an angel that you probably want to be familiar with. If you're interested in learning about angels, you can look up Mahashya, and it's supporting the union. Literally, it is the Four of Wands. It's literally supporting the twin flame union, helping you live in peace with everyone. That is what the twin flame journey is about. If you thought the twin flame journey was about you getting together with some person that you think is your soulmate, that you're supposed to be with until the end of time, and have a house and a car and 2.5 kids and a white picket fence and a dog, I don't want to disappoint you, but I am going to disappoint you when I do tell you that it is not about that. The twin flame union is about learning how to live in peace with everyone, not just your specific person. It's just your specific person was irritating enough to show you how to do it. That's kind of like the only way I can say that. It doesn't mean you won't be with that person. Truthfully, I don't know if you get to be with your twin or not. I'm not a person who claims to be an authority. I don't claim to be a prophet. I don't claim to be any of that I see people claim to be. That's up to them. I receive messages. They seem real to me. They're confirmed all the time, and I believe the messages I receive. In all the years that I've been doing it, I have not received a message that says that the person you are focused on is the only person you can be with. So I can't testify to that. But I can testify to the fact that that person is perfectly matched to be the catalyst for your change, your transformation, and your growth. And you will be happy when you embrace that that is your purpose and your mission. Much more happy than you will be just to be with somebody on the planet, I believe. All right, the next thing that is going to help you both is that you have to release the shadow attributes of the dilettante. And this is a pretension to a much deeper knowledge than you actually possess, which is literally what I just did. I literally said, hey, I don't know. I'm not a prophet. I don't know everything. I don't have the deepest knowledge about twin flames, so I'm already resonating with this. But it is much more about this top part, which is, I hear you, babes, which is delighting in the arts without having to be a professional. This is not having to be perfect and go to school and get a degree and learning how to love somebody or heal yourself in order to do those things. And alerting you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. So not just dabbling in things, but really allowing yourself to go deeply into them without having to be an expert. That's, you don't start as an expert, you become one. And so the two parts of self really need to leave behind perfectionism, and they need to leave behind this tendency to just kind of dip your toe in because you're afraid that you don't have enough skill to actually swim. The good news is you float, so you can just go ahead and try to swim, and you're going to be fine. Your guardian angel is here to help you. Oh, look what it says. Practice makes perfect. I fucking hate practicing. I'm a musician and I do not like practicing. Not because I don't like being an expert. I love being an expert, but I don't like feeling like I'm not an expert. So practicing is always frustrating to me, and I always have to force it. And then I drive my session musicians insane because I'm like, do it again, 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 do it again. My bassist, I'm like, you have two in you. You can do this 2 times, right? And he's like, I can do it more than 2 times. Then we do it 3 times. And I'm like, you want to do it again? And he's like, oh my God. I am a perfectionist. But practice makes perfect. And you are practicing being divine because you're ascending to divinity. Once you shed the humanity part of you, once you leave behind the human being, your soul, your spirit, it's working on ascending. And you're practicing here. This is like the best way to learn how to ascend into that energy. Your mindset, you both possess this, but you need to emphasize it this week. When I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. That is what you need to do this week. You think you've surrendered? Good for you. Surrender even more. Dreams. You may be experiencing lucid dreams, dreams about your person, tense dreams, nightmares even. Pay attention to them. Ask yourself, what is coming up for you in these dreams. Kind of go into them. Fantasize more about what you desire. Allow yourself to dream. Dream big. Those are all messages that are coming up from the dreams card. Your animal spirit oracle is the protection message of frog spirit. It says, clear out the clutter, which is real in alignment with divine feminine, needing to let go of things that don't serve her, letting it die, let it go, slam the door. Okay. What's weighing you down? Is it time for spiritual and psychic cleansing? Are you overdue for letting go of the voices that surround you? They may have started to get into your head, these voices that bog you down and keep you from leaping forward into a better situation. Let others croak and create their dramas while you make space for yourself and for hearing your own thoughts as they arise. Declutter your schedule and stop trying to do it all and then some. Let others manage their own baggage rather than allowing it to be dumped on you. For your lily pad needs to be clear of others' clutter. Frog spirit may also come bearing a message about your physical space. Do you hold on to things because you are afraid of losing your energetic connection to the past, to people who are no longer in your life, or to goals you never pursued? Or could you have these items around because you would feel guilty if you got rid of them? Are your storage and living spaces stuffed with reminders of what you are not, when they should be holding only objects that reflect who you are and aspire to be? If something is no longer making you feel joyful, empowered, and excited, Frog Spirit is telling you to let it go and free yourself to leap forward into something new, trusting you will always have what you need. Clear out the clutter, people. Your shamanic medicine this week is Lower World, and it's the past, and it was in reverse. So this is another message of releasing the past. Are you tired of that message? You should be, because you literally get this message constantly. But are you doing it? Are you really, really doing it? Are you really, really shedding the past? Or are you still wearing that snake skin? My brother was we were talking about the snakes we've interacted with. Like, there was a boa constrictor that my friend's pet boa constrictor that I've interacted with. He had one. It's 12:11 on the clock right now, by the way. And he mentioned that he got bit once by a snake that had its skin covering its eyes because it was shedding its skin, and it was like kind of in front of its eyes, and it accidentally hit my brother instead of the mouse because my brother had his hand like near where the mouse was. And it's literally like that. It's like this old skin is constricting. You can't grow with it on, and it's covering up your eyes. You can't see anything but the past. You can't even see how you've grown. And the only reason that you're still holding on to that skin is because when we expose new skin, it's raw, it's sensitive, we feel vulnerable. And it's time for you to shed the past. Oh my God, the final card is the Four of Wands. And that is the angel that was supporting us today. So that is a beautiful synchronicity. Let's see how many decks I use. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 decks. Think about how many decks there are, how many chances there are for certain cards to come out in certain places, and how many synchronicities occur. Those are your signs. Those are your signs that these messages are truly inspired, that they come from a place that is shared collectively by all of my prayers. And this final theme for you is to work on healthy, stable foundations and that unity and being at peace with everyone and all around you, not just your person. It's about celebrating life, celebrating your relationships, all of them, your friends, your family, and feeling how as you embrace that joy, you are inspiring that to be reflected back to you. So the people you're focused on, the people you're attracting into your environment. All right, that is the end of the collective tune-in. I'm going to sign out now of my YouTube. Thank you so much for watching the entire thing. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, follow, share, do all of the energetic things that you can to help my channel grow. I truly appreciate that. And it's really helping me to be able to live my dreams. So I'm hoping that I'm helping you do the same. Thanks again, and I will see you. If you are a member on Thursday, you will be able to watch the replay of Tell Me Everything. Otherwise, I will see you next Monday. And I'm going to go now over to my